please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Coletta Frias.
Here.
John Crean.
Here.
Thomas Grattan.
Here.
Scott Latham.
Here.
Brian Tobin. In the event of an emergency, visitors are advised that they may exit this room from the one side door which leads directly into the parking lot. In the event of an emergency, everyone is asked to move away from the building and do not attempt to leave in your automobile, since this may cause traffic problems and block incoming emergency vehicles.
Thank you. I guess we could skip our first hearing of visitors. We don't have any visitors. That brings us to our consent agenda, which includes the approval of our minutes from our regular board meeting of March 27th, the budget meeting of April 10th, and the special meeting, the BOCES budget vote and election of April 16th. It also includes, under our financial matters, our bills, the treasurer's report for March, the monthly budget status report for March, transfers, extra classrooms, activity funds, some contracts, and the CSEs. I did have one question. There was a pending transfer. Is that transfer unpending? It was a big transfer for Chromebooks. And is that transfer to be approved tonight, or is it still pending? And can I ask why so much money for so many Chromebooks at this time? I mean, it's $150,000, which is, and you may not know the answer, maybe you can get back to us on it, but that's
Yeah.
a lot of replacement Chromebooks, and I was under the assumption I was under the impression that, families were responsible for Chromebooks if they were lost or damaged
They are.
when they were in the families.
And I'll get you more detail, but no matter what, we have to replace them every 5 or 6 years or so because they age out when it comes to what you can do on them. So they become, just like when you get like an iPhone, after 2 years or 3 years, it's essentially useless, or an iPad after a certain period of time.
I've had like 7 years
Yeah.
now, and it's
Chromebooks are a
still,
little different, I think. They have to
Is this
Yeah.
a
cycle
bigger
them.
expenditure than in other years?
I don't remember $150,000 on Chromebooks.
This is a bigger expenditure than, no, there's other years where we've had much bigger expenditures than this, but what we're trying to do is put it into a timeline where we roll over every 5 years. The problem is that our teachers' devices are timing out at the same time as one of our grade level devices. So that's a much bigger purchase, but I'll get you more detail.
Okay.
And I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'd like to know like how many these are, for what grades, and is there any grant funding for this kind of thing?
So we've been doing this for
It's
the
just a
last,
big-
yeah, so we've been doing this for the last 3 years, and we've been utilizing almost exclusively grant funding. Because when we bought into the one-to-one, we bought in enough Chromebooks for,
Well, we phased them in.
yeah.
Right, I
We
recall
phased them
that.
in, and we had,
Is that COVID grant funding, or is,
we utilized a lot of COVID grant funding for it, yes.
that's gonna fade away, so?
It's gone.
Yeah, I
So
don't-
now what we did is we put together a 5-year plan we replaced all of our new lines. The 72-inch TVs that are in the rooms with the smart boards, we replaced with the new lines, those, because they were aged out. So we used grant funding for that, but we did it over 4 years. So we will only have to replace them a certain amount, hopefully every 4 or 5, a certain amount over 5 years, we'll replace all of them. And we're planning on trying to do the same with our Chromebooks, where we'll replace them over 5 years, then we'll have a year where we won't have to replace them, and we'll be building the cost into our budget. One of the reasons it was higher this year was because, we were replacing faculty and staff also. But
They absolutely have to be replaced now. I just thinking of the budget and what a struggle it's been, and that's a lot of money.
So I'll get monies on it, and I'll
Okay.
make sure that I tell you exactly where the money's coming from. Like, we utilized a fair amount of money this year from grants to buy different things, so that we would have some of this money to buy some of these things. But I'll share all of that with you.
But that's covered in grant money, then?
No, it's not.
No.
In the past, it has been, apparently.
Yeah, well,
This
the
is
last
for a
3 years, we
transfer.
used almost exclusively grant money for our technology, right? For the last 3 years, we used
I guess I just,
grant monies for most of our technology.
I don't know, the thing is, when we started with the Chromebooks, I don't think we were informed that we were gonna have this investment. Maybe we could have like, a presentation on how often these kinds of things have to be replaced, because.
Yeah.
And I know it's not your, I know you don't have the answers.
Right, well, you had to know it was- they were gonna phase
Well, I
out.
knew, but I just don't know that we knew how often or the cost, because maybe we didn't answer questions at the
Well,
time.
because it was grant funded at the time. Now
Well, not
it's-
initially. Well, initially, we did get some, we got money from Senator Laval that.
I'll get you all that
got us the
information. We have a
kickoff.
5-year
Yeah.
turnover plan. We have a 5-year rollover plan, a 10-year rollover plan with the larger
Right, you're
projectors.
saying the rollover plan is gonna be grant funded or
No, well, the first 3 years of it was,
thanks to COVID? But
thanks to COVID. Yeah,
5 years, so that's saying that's the first year?
no, it's not gonna be this high each year. Right. But I'll get you all of that. You
Okay,
know,
that'd be great.
I'll get you all of that because I don't want to give any misconceptions. So I'll get you the whole plan, I'll share it with you, and then what the annual amount will be, and you know, how frequently we look at doing it. They did just change it, they extended it. I have to find out from Mark exactly, but Chromebook extended the timeline before they have to be phased out. You know,
So they dictate to us when
Yeah,
we.
they do. The technology companies dictate everything. Of course they do. You know, when things stop working on them, they're basically paperweights.
Yeah.
It's time to get a new iPhone.
Yeah, they're basically paperweights once they stop using certain things. Now, like, if you're like me, I have a 9-year-old iPad, because all I do is read on it. And the library technology doesn't get old, you know, and that's all I use it for. I don't use it for anything else. But, like, my kids look at me and go, "What are you using that for?" You know, because it doesn't do anything they would want it to do. I get Wi-Fi, and I can get to the library, and that's all I need. So, yes.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Pages behind you. That brings us to the adoption of our 2024-2025 school budget. I need a motion to adopt the budget recommended by the superintendent for the 2024-2025 school year and the property tax report card to be submitted to the SED. The total planned expenditure is $34,532,000. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Budget, governor's budget come in? State budget? Oh, I thought I heard it.
Said today they agreed to $237 billion.
They haven't.
The state aid, right?
They didn't, the article I read didn't go into,
Oh.
but it was $4 billion more than she asked for.
2 minutes before I came down here, of all the things that they're doing with.
So it still hasn't, okay. I thought I saw something quickly somewhere, but I guess it was a
They've-
maybe, a definite
They've come across
maybe.
with statements that they're going to return things, and they've come across with statements about how much money they're going to give, but they've not given us anything that we could actually plan on.
Okay. So this will be the budget
So
is
Ms.
the
12's
budget.
report this morning, foundation aid is not being changed, is,
That's what they say, but, you know, there are districts that got $1 million increases in foundation aid. And then there are districts that had $1 million decreases, or $500,000 decreases like us. So, like, saying it's not going to be changed from last year, what does that mean? Or, like, what happens to those districts that budgeted for a $2 million increase in foundation aid? Because you can't give them their $2 million and still give me my $500,000, because that's where they took it from. So, as much as I believe that state aid will be back in, and that's what's in this number right now, they haven't really given us that yet. You know, they haven't come out and said, this is what everybody gets. And that's when you really can finitely do your budget. You know, we can settle on a number because we're in a very good financial position. You know, that's why we can settle on a number. Other districts really can't right now.
this is taking into account we're not getting it.
No, this is taking into account that the
We have
that the
three
foundation aid is
alternatives on how we're
returned.
gonna do it.
Just the foundation aid that we would have had last year is returned. The 486, right? Is that the number? The 3% more that some believe we'll be getting is not in there. Whether it's going to be slightly less than the 486, you know, we don't know, but that's what this is taking into account, yes.
and
not
if
a-
necessary, we could
Yeah, not an ideal way to budget.
to where we need it. Okay, well, in light of that, that brings us to, seems like we do this tax anticipation no earlier and earlier.
We always do it in April.
Do we? Do we have to do it in April? Is there a time frame where it has to be done?
Do we have to?
Well, there's paperwork that they have to do on their end, so it's always kind of been around here.
I always thought it was more like June or.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This comes around too quick, that's why.
Yeah, what this is this is us, allows us to borrow money for next year's school budget before we get the taxes from the town. That's it in a short nut, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to read it all. If anybody wants it, it's certainly there.
The agendas we cover.
And we do need a roll call on this.
Right, so we need a motion.
Motion, please?
So move.
Second? Okay, Patty.
Okay, let me just get to the process.
I should say the amount, I'm sorry, not to exceed $5 million.
Paulette Frias,
Yes.
John Crean,
Yes.
Tom Grattan,
Yes.
Scott Latham,
Yes.
and Brian Tobin.
Yes.
Thank you. Once upon a time, that was in excess of like $14 million that we had to borrow. So we are in a much better financial shape than we were many years ago.
Currently borrow 4 million.
Yes,
This is it up to.
okay, thank you. Old business. Any old business, Dr. Morrow? I don't think so. That brings us to the superintendent's report.
So a few things. I got a chance to go to the elementary play on Friday. It was great. They did Willy Wonka, and the kids were absolutely adorable. Thank you to all of the students, parents, teachers that put in so much time. They really had a great time, and it was a wonderful show. Spring sports are going, although it doesn't feel like it today. It did feel like it the last 2 days, and it's great to see them back out on the fields. And we're hoping for some success with our different teams. I had an opportunity to meet with the Superintendent's Advisory Council yesterday, students from elementary school all the way up through high school. Because of some commitments with sports and such, we didn't have as large a group as we usually have, but it really gave us a great opportunity. The focus of yesterday's meeting was artificial intelligence and the use of cell phones in school. So all of the data that I've collected from them will be put into those areas as starting points for how we start gathering information to decide how we manage them in schools. And they're really fascinating conversations. You know, you never, you think you know what you'll hear, and then you're surprised every time. And they're really very thoughtful, and I appreciate the sessions. I just came from the elementary STEAM and art fair, which is ending probably right about now. Anybody who got a chance to go, the STEAM projects were fantastic, from robots to volcanoes to slime. There were 5 slime projects, all slightly different, but all absolutely slime. And the art project, your Ken does a fantastic job. His art room looks like a cave right now, full of aliens made by all the different students with glow lights in there, and it really, it was great to see. It was a really, really nice experience. And then I just hope that everybody gets an opportunity to have a little bit of downtime next week with school being closed, a little bit of rest and relaxation.
Thank you. That brings us to our personnel. We have leaving the district full-time permanent, Cindy Simcoe will be retiring effective September 6, 2025. Christine Shabe will be retiring effective January 13th, 2025. Ryan Davis, resignation effective April 29th, 2024. Employees leaving the district, part-time permanent, Nora Haupt, a part-time lunch aide. Employees entering the district, full-time permanent, Alexa Levenick, custodial worker. Employees entering full-time temporary, Ann Joyce, who will be our elementary school psychologist leave replacement effective May 9th, 2024, through November 8th, 2024. She will be replacing Jennifer Moley, right? Is it Jennifer? Yeah, I got the first name. And then we have a whole host of election workers for our upcoming budget vote. We've got coaching, junior high, boys and girls track, replacing 2 people, Denise McKeon, custodial substitutes, and aide substitutes. Is there a motion to accept the superintendent's personnel recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? New business. This is going quickly. Anybody have any new business? Finance Committee report. Oh, wait, you know what, Brian, you have the next page, so I guess you should, the federal single audit report, we need a motion to accept. Do you want to make that motion? The federal single audit report of the financial records for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023, as prepared by Colin and Danowski, and approval to send the corrective action plan.
Make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Building Committee report?
Nothing to report.
Policy Committee, Scott?
Move for adoption of the Workplace Violence Prevention Program policy.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We need a motion to nominate me as the board member trustee on the East End Health Plan, unless anybody else wants it.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Thanks, guys. I was holding out, I was thinking somebody else might want to jump on the board. There. That brings us to our second hearing of visitors, which is going to go as well as the first hearing of visitors, I guess. I know it's a busy time of the year for everybody with the stuff that's going on. Board member commentary. Flynn?
Yeah.
Not Kate. No, I got it right last time.
No, I was-
Go ahead, Flynn.
All right.
First of all, you need to tell us your college choice, because I think you've made it.
University of Auburn.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a very interesting time of the year right now. We have our juniors and seniors in full swing of AP test review, preparing for that, while our freshmen and sophomores are still kind of finishing up their coursework for the year, getting ready for their regions, actually. A lot going on with spring sports. You know, we're in the mid-season term, so a lot of games being played, a lot of busy times. Baseball had a close game yesterday, I believe, against Pearson. They're actually playing there today. We actually rescheduled our sports night for the high school in efforts to raise a couple more funds, because we did a little student survey and not many people were going to be able to make it. So we moved that back to a later date and to hopefully raise some more food for CAST. And it's I apologize. The band and orchestra are preparing for NYSSMA majors on May 22nd, I believe. So we're all pretty excited for that, ready to see how we're doing. And I think that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Mr. Latham?
I'd just like to thank Mr. Scheid and his office for putting together a sound budget in a quite confusing and too many balls in the air time. So please extend my thanks to everybody in your office. And wish everybody a happy Passover and Orthodox Easter.
Thank you. Dr. Crean?
I'm going to, in advance, thank the voters who have passed these budgets that our staff had put together, because I'm fairly certain it'll pass again. We're very blessed at how this community has supported, the staff and the students over 35, 40 years. A budget has not gone down since the 70s, and through good times and bad. So I'm thanking the voters in advance, because I know it's going to pass. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Grattan?
Just a couple of small things. The 7th and 8th graders played ball on the far field, like almost in Peconic.
They were in that beautiful weather yesterday playing out there.
Yeah, but we could maybe use a porta potty down that end.
There used to be one.
There's one in the middle of the whole field, but it's like a trek.
There used to be one.
And we have a beautiful scoreboard out there that was not being in use yesterday.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, and there was no umpires either, but
The operator, the person that was supposed to do it had something that happened in their family and couldn't do it.
okay.
So we plan on utilizing it for
'Cause that
games.
was brought up to me from some other parents and stuff, so.
Someone mentioned, it was mentioned to me today that it was,
Okay.
that we've had a harder time,
Yeah.
getting people. Just like everybody else, we've had a harder time getting people for everything. But the plan is that we will have people, and we have commitments to do it already. We just had somebody that, through, a situation they couldn't avoid, had to back out late. so that's why they didn't use it. And I'll check on
Well, I don't
the,
know if you gotta actually be qualified, but I know somebody would've jumped in.
yeah.
We
You
can't
know what
do
I'm saying?
students for it either, can we?
You know, I mean, if there's no one that.
I mean, all somebody has to do is ask, and somebody would jump in, you
I mean,
know?
if nobody is doing it for work, then don't understand why a student couldn't do it.
A student or, you know, a parent would do it, you know? But that's all I have.
Yeah.
Be trained operator.
I don't know.
Not that
I
you
didn't
get
know
not
if you
that
needed
you know.
I can't imagine.
wear a hard helmet and.
Yeah, I'll find out.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know the answer, but I'll find out. It's not a bad idea.
Thank you. Mr. Tobin,
Good.
you good? Let's see. I want to just reiterate what Mr. Latham said about thanking the business office and the staff for putting the budget together. We know you're always conscious of the needs of the students as well as the community to put out a fair budget, and I think that we do a good job at that, thanks to you and your staff. I would like to see us, or our administration, put their heads together with Greenport School to look at more shared courses. We've talked about it. Parents have brought it up. Students have brought it up. I think the only way we're going to be able to increase what we offer our students, because of the budget restraints, is by sharing, like we've done on several occasions over the last 30 or 40 years. I don't see any other way that we can do it with the budgets that we have, and I think the kids always like doing it. It was courses that neither school had, so we'd go to Greenport would come here, and I would really, really like to see us get back to it. I think it was a combination of many things why we got away from it, and COVID really just kind of squashed so many things. I would like to see us really make a concerted effort to get back on that. Mr. Latham brought up something at our budget hearing last week that I know we're going to follow up on too, which is what the state mandates us to offer and how much we offer, and I think people will be surprised as to what we offer in excess of what's required, and I think they'll be impressed as well. Doesn't mean we can't do better, but I look forward to that presentation because I think that I'll be surprised as well. I wish the students and the staff a great spring break next week, which seems kind of odd because it seems kind of late where so many other areas of the country have had their spring breaks, so it is still spring, enjoy it. A blessed Passover to those who celebrate that, and I think the spring concerts will be around the corner in May. Our budget meeting work session will be May 8th. I want to remind everybody in the community the budget vote is May 21st. It takes place at our high school gym from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and our regular board meeting will take place the following night on May 22nd, so get out there and vote. And with that, I guess, motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.